Well, I'm the Bald Book Geek, and this is an unhaul video of chaos. So, hello. I have shit tons of books that I'm getting rid of, and basically here is an unhaul. What I will say is, all of these books, like I said, are going to charity or to friends, and let's clean house, because I'm running out of space here, dude. I'm in a weird mood today. So, A Demon in Silver, I read it, it didn't leave much of an impression, it's gone. I really enjoyed these books, but I'm only ever going to read these once. Really enjoyable, great series, but again, I'm only ever going to read these once. I'm getting rid of these. Again, a series I really enjoyed, really enjoyable, but why do I need to keep them? Because I'm never going to read them again. Great fun, trashy Da Vinci Code ripoff. Goodbye. The Godless. Generic. I actually kind of got this in Poundland. I enjoyed it, but it's a very generic YA fantasy type novel that was kind of like fun for a minute. It's like a Happy Meal, fun for a minute, but not satisfying. Scarlet. Robin Hood fantasy. Read it. I'm getting rid of the Pokemon Go field guide. Outdated, but I'm sure someone will want it. Lost City Radio. The Immortal City. This is a horrible YA novel about angels that's been sitting on my shelf since I was about 19. Spider-Man. Read it once. Don't need to read it again. Time Shards. Good, but read it once. Halloween, the novelisation. Goodbye. I enjoyed this. Small spaces, really enjoyable, but predictable. So, goodbye. Pray for Death. Read it once, don't need to again. This did nothing for me. Really enjoyable science fiction novel, kind of space opera, but don't need to reread. Let's make more people hate me. Buzz. And again, I really enjoy this series, but I've read them. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Time to go. After Alice. Read it once, don't need to read it again. The Ember of War. Read it once, don't need to read it again. I know it sounds quite unceremonious, but I really enjoy cleaning. I'm getting rid of the series of these. There are 3 books. They are somewhere here, but they're going because why keep them? Wow, this mound is growing. This series is actually going to a friend. She really wants them. I've read them. I don't feel the need to read them again. Percy Jackson kind of book, middle grade, great fun, but I'm sure a kid will love it. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, really funny, but I'm kind of over it. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many times you can read books. These are going, a really Game of Thrones-esque fantasy series I adored, but I'm never going to reread these. They've never had that pull. So, bye. Actually, saying that, before I say it, these are going to a friend, so they're going to a good home. A random second copy of Anne Rice, Blackwood Farm. I love Anne Rice, I love her books, but I have no clue why I have 2 copies. I have a signed hardback that belonged to my grandmother. Maybe I bought this a few years ago. Shock of the Fall. I really hated this book. Absolutely hated it. So overrated. Been there, done that, read it. It was very good, but these books never last a second reading for me. Of Mice and Men. A book that I've tried to read many times. I tried again. It was a school book. Rat Run. Read it, got the t-shirt, enjoyable, but I never go back to books like this. I also hate this format. Lord of the Flies. Again, a school book. Not a book that I actually dislike. I just feel like I have no need to ever read this again. So this is going to a friend, actually for kids, for English. read it, didn't leave a huge mark on me. The Wonder of Us. I really enjoyed this. Light reading, but it can go. Warrior Errant. Again, another book I really enjoyed. Think kind of Hunger Games-ish. Science fiction, space opera. But the reason I am getting rid of it is that military science fiction is one of my favourite things, but I'm never going to revisit this. And I hope there's someone out there that will love it. Half Moon Bay. I really enjoyed this book, but again, it's a crime thriller. It's done. I rarely go back to crime thrillers unless they really hold something amazing. I read it, I enjoyed it, but it left very little mark. I regret buying this. I like The Room, but I actually prefer the film to the book. Science fiction short stories. I really enjoyed this, but only a handful I will ever revisit, and all of them are available independently on the writer's website. Lion, a book that I love, non-fiction. It was turned into a fantastic film. Do check this out. It's gorgeous and heartbreaking. But there comes a point where it's been looking at me on my shelf and I've read through it once and I have no need to read through it again. People get really snippy about unhauls and I don't know why. I'm getting rid of this Batman Arkham book. It's a guide to the Arkham video games. It's all the character art and everything, and it's brilliant. But all of this stuff you can find on Google for free. Tattoo Handbook. Again, great. Actually a really nice little book, but all of this stuff is basically just Google images. And finally, and I'm getting rid of these Lord of the Rings books because I don't need to revisit them. So there they are. Unhauls are really controversial and get a lot of bitchiness, but I think it's so good to just clean out and get rid of stuff. I don't see the point in having thousands of books I'm never going to read on my bookshelf or didn't like. But then again, there is a subset of booktubers that turn books into an aesthetic and treat them like stationery because they look pretty, which I think is probably actually a very unhealthy way to regard a book. So tell me what you think in the comments, like and subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you guys later.